Welcome to the Candle Business Coach Podcast, a show about the craft of candle making and small business. I'm your host, Kirsty Allen, and I'm a candle maker, mum of three, and kindness advocator. Join me as I dive into all things candles and small business and deliver advice and tips to you in episodes every Tuesday and Friday. Are you on the list to get my daily motivation emails? Every day I'll send you a message that is designed to help keep you focused on taking action toward your goals. Sign up using the link in the show notes. This episode is brought to you by my free ebook, The Candle Business Marketing Kickstarter Kit. Inside this free ebook, you'll learn to identify your blocks of time to dedicate to your candle business. Plus, there are several tips and tricks for re-engaging past customers and attracting new customers into your business so you can grow your business and reach your goals. Check out the link in the show notes for your copy. Welcome back to the podcast, my friend. I hope you're having a beautiful day, and I just wanted to say a huge thank you for listening and tuning in. I have been noticing my download numbers have been increasing, and I'm just so grateful that you're wanting to listen to the podcast and coming back again and again and listening to the guest episodes that I have and also these solo episodes as well. So thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a listener of the podcast. So in today's episode, I wanted to talk to you about turning your candle making hobby into a profitable business. And the reason I wanted to touch on this topic is because even though some of my listeners are experienced candle makers who have been in business for either a year or several years, many of the listeners are actually new to the craft and their candle journey is in the hobby stage. So I thought it would be good to talk about what the differences are between a hobby and a business and why you might want to consider turning your hobby into a business and how to make that transition a profitable one. So what is the difference between the two? Well, a hobby is an activity done in your spare time for recreation or pleasure, where a business is a little bit more complicated. So with a business, you're intending to make a profit. You may have already obtained an ABN if you're in Australia, which is an Australian business number. You may already have a separate business bank account, or you might have even registered your business name. Basically, the key differences between having a hobby and a business are your tax, insurance, and legal obligations. So let's talk through the benefits of having a hobby over a business, and then I'll touch on what the benefits are of turning your hobby into a business. So having a hobby allows you to gain personal enjoyment and satisfaction. It means that you can gift or sell your candles and products for the cost of the materials. You can do it in your own time or when people contact you, and probably the biggest benefit of having a hobby over a business is that there's no reporting obligations that a business has. But on the flip side, if you run a business, you can apply for an ABN to use in your business transactions. You have the flexibility to manage your time and work your own hours once you scale the business. You can register a .com.au website once you have that ABN, and that's again if you're in Australia. You can claim tax deductions for business expenses against your taxable income. And of course, you're building brand awareness and making money via your sales and making profit. So there's lots of different benefits for running a business. And if you're listening to a Candle Business Coach podcast, I'm assuming that you're wanting to turn your hobby into a business. So let's talk through some ways and steps you need to take to make this happen for you. Now, I will preface the next section by saying that I'm not an accountant or a lawyer. So you will need to get some professional advice to make sure you understand your obligations and legal requirements and tax requirements as well. So you'll need to apply for an Australian business number or an ABN if you're in Australia, and there's no cost associated with applying for an ABN with the Australian Business Register. However, depending on the business, you may need to apply for additional licenses and permits depending on what state you're in. So you will need to check, and you can just do a quick Google search in your state to see what your obligations are. If you're operating the business with over $75,000 in profit per annum, you will be required to register for GST and include GST in the products you sell. And again, this is if you're an Australian resident. You also need to set up your business structure. So usually when you start as a candle maker, you would start off as a sole trader. But if you're operating with a friend or a family member, you may need to go into a partnership or open up a company. And again, you'll need to speak to your accountant or a lawyer to see which is the best business structure for you. And you also need to obtain insurance. Now, this is a hotly debated topic in the candle forums on Facebook, but my recommendation is to get public and product liability insurance, and you can do that through Aussie Insurance, and I'll link their website in the show notes so you can check them out. You may also want to set up a business bank account for the ease of bookkeeping purposes. So what you can do is set up a bank account with the name of the account as the business, or you can set up a business bank account with your bank. So you'll need to speak to your bank to see which is the best process for you, depending on who you bank with. But the idea is that having a separate account will make it more easily identifiable as to what income and outgoings you have within that bank account, rather than keeping it together with your personal finances, which can get a bit tricky. And I'm sure when you speak to your accountant, you'll know that it's just a lot more streamlined if you can have a separate bank account when you start to run your business. So you may be wondering, when is the right time to turn my candle making hobby into a business? And as with most things, actually all things with our candle journey, our candle making journey, is that the decision is a personal one and it depends on a variety of factors. So when it comes to turning your hobby into a business, let me go through a couple of things you might want to consider. Number one, are you passionate about making candles and enjoy it so much that you could do it full time if that is your long-term goal for your business? Is there a demand for your candles? Is there demand for your products that you've been making? Have your family and friends said that they're willing to purchase, or have they purchased candles and products from you? Are there other people that are being recommended to you and that are wanting your candles as well? You also want to make sure that you've got the skills and expertise. So do you know how to make a candle? Have you done all your testing? Have you done all your research? Have you done all the foundational work that's required before you start your candle business? The next step is a market analysis. Have you actually analysed the market to determine who your competition is, what pricing is suitable for your candles? And again, this will depend on your cost of goods sold, and what is the potential market size as well. And the next thing to consider is time and resources. Do you actually have the time to dedicate to starting and running a business? Do you have the resources to continue making products, purchase supplies, and then create your candles and sell them, whether that's online or in person? So do you actually have the time and resources to dedicate to your business? So once you've made the decision to finally or officially transition, you have to give yourself a pat on the back, because it's a huge step in your journey to go from making a hobby where you're making candles either just for yourself or for your family and friends, to then stepping into an official business where you can make a profit on your products sold. So bear in mind that moving from a candle making hobby to a business requires careful planning and execution. So let's go through some steps to help you get started. Number one, develop a business plan. So having a business plan will help you define your goals, your target market, your pricing strategy, and other essential aspects of your business. But it will also help to identify your strengths, your weaknesses, your opportunities and threats. And this is called a SWOT analysis. You can Google business plan samples or suggestions, and that will help you go through to actually develop the business plan for your business. You need to register your business as well. So depending on what state you're in or what country you're in, you'll need to do some research to find out if there are any permits or licenses required to operate legally, and make sure that you're doing everything by the book. Number 3, set up your workspace. So if you're turning a hobby into a business, you'll need to make sure you've got the space and have a clean and organized workspace with all the necessary tools and equipment. So this may mean that you need to invest in additional equipment, such as purchasing a large wax melter rather than using the double boiler method, and you might need to upgrade your packaging and branding as well. In regards to number 4, source materials, you'll need to determine your suppliers for all of your candle making equipment and supplies. So where will you get your wax from? Where will you purchase your wicks? Where will you source your fragrance oils and other materials? At this stage, you may consider buying all of those supplies in bulk to reduce costs and ensure consistent quality across your products as well. This will save you money in the long run, and it means that your costs of goods are lower, so that when you're selling your products, you'll be making a decent profit margin. Number 5 is develop your product line. So if you've been making candles as a hobby for a little while, you may already have a variety of different fragrances that you can offer your customers now that you're moving into the business realm. If not, you may want to increase your candle scent offerings and have different size jars to appeal to a broad range of customers. So you want to think about your packaging options, such as glass jars or tins, or even design labels that reflect your brand as well. Number 6 is create a website. So a website in today's day and age is basically non-negotiable. If you start off with just accepting DMs for orders or orders via email, you may find that that is enough of a barrier for potential customers that they don't actually purchase from you. People want to go on the sales experience. They want to go on the journey of clicking through to your website, being wowed by your product images and your descriptions that are so compelling that they just have to add to cart. So having a website will help you reach that broader audience and showcase your products. And if you don't feel comfortable doing it yourself, you can use a website builder to create that visually appealing and easy to navigate website. Number 7 is market your products. So you can use social media platforms such as Instagram and Facebook to showcase your candles and engage with your customers, but you may also want to consider attending local markets to sell your products in person as well. Wholesale is another venture for your candles to go on, which you can do from the start of your business, or when you feel a little bit more comfortable and experienced, you can explore that as well. So I'll give myself a little shameless plug. I do have 2 ebooks that you can purchase for $27 each. One is a market guide, the Candle Maker's Market Guide, which runs through all the things you need to know about running a candle business through a market store. And the other ebook is called the Wholesaling Guide for Candle Businesses, and that will walk you through all the steps you need to take to sell your candles via wholesale, including how to price your products for wholesale and how to contact potential wholesale customers. Number 8 is keep track of your finances. So in addition to what I mentioned before, in that you should have a separate bank account, you also want to make sure you've got a system for tracking your expenses, your sales, and your profits. So you may want to use just a spreadsheet, or you may want to invest in using accounting software such as Xero, that's Xero, to ensure accuracy and compliance with tax laws. So speak to your accountant to see what the best software might be for you, or whether having a spreadsheet and using that is sufficient for now. Number 9 is tracking your inventory. So if you've been operating your hobby for a little while, you'll know that there are lots of different materials and supplies to keep track of. It's not just a matter of saying, oh yeah, I think I've got 100 wicks in that box. When you start to get orders consistently and you want to make sure you've got enough supplies to be able to fulfill those orders, you need to be on top of your inventory. So there's a software called Inventora, and if for those playing along, episode 31 of this podcast, I actually had Diana from Inventora on the podcast, and we shared an episode together, which was incredible. So I encourage you to go back and listen to episode 31. I'll leave a link in the show notes for Inventora so you can learn all about it and start to track your inventory, which will save you a lot of time, effort, and money overall. And then number 10 is get a mentor or find a community of like-minded people. So when you become a business owner and you're moving or transitioning from having a hobby into a business, there is a lot of questions that you'll have. There's a lot of reassurance that you'll need and a lot of support that you need as well, just to make sure that the steps you're taking and that the path that you're on is the right one for you. And when you surround yourself with people that are going through a similar journey, whether that's a mentor, as I mentioned, or a community of other candle makers, it can make such a difference because you feel like you're not alone and you can share your passion with other people that truly understand what you're going through. And this is one of the reasons why I'm in the process of creating a new membership for candle makers called the Candle Makers Collective. I mentioned at the end of an episode 2 episodes ago on the podcast, but I just wanted to mention it again because the wait list is now open and I'm so excited to see it all come together. So there'll be live monthly workshops, there'll be live fortnightly group Q&A or coaching sessions, there'll be guest speakers as well, daily Facebook group support, and of course ongoing access to our exclusive community and more things to be advised as well. So as the details of the collective comes together, I'll be sharing more information with you, and I can't wait to see what you think and just the community that we'll be building inside the membership. So I will leave links to the waitlist in the show notes if you wanted to sign up and be one of the first to know when the membership goes live. But I just wanted to leave you with this little note or this little sentence. Your business doesn't necessarily need to scale exponentially. If you're in it for the love of your craft, a business can serve as a way to pay for itself or generate a little extra spending money. So if you're transitioning from a hobby into a business, know that your goals are your own goals, and it doesn't matter how big or audacious you're wanting your business to grow. If you're just wanting to earn a little extra money to spend on yourself or your family or your children, that is a worthy goal in itself, and I want you to be able to go for your dreams and goals no matter what they are, no matter how big or small. So I'll leave you with that for today. I hope you have a beautiful week ahead and I will speak to you very soon. Thanks everyone for listening today. I hope this episode added value to your candle making journey. Check out the show notes for all the links mentioned throughout today's show, and please subscribe to the podcast so you don't miss any future episodes. Thanks again for listening. Have a beautiful day.